What's up, YouTube? It's your boy PorterRock77, and I'm back with a new segment. This segment is called One-on-One with The Rock, and I'll be featuring a special guest on these segments, but this won't be a regularly scheduled type programming that you normally see, like my 60 Frames No Lag podcast. This is something different. This is something I'm going back to what I started originally before I evolved to the 60 Frames No Lag podcast. I used to do one-on-one conversations, and it's not really debates. I know people are asking, is this a debate? No, it's not a debate. This is a conversation. Of course, I personally believe in my First Amendment rights and the First Amendment rights of all. So anything goes. All conversations will be said. Everything will be talked about. The latest in gamings, opinions, whatever it is. All right. But this one-on-one is a little bit different than the normal podcast. Going back to my original roots, because, you know, sometimes a podcast with 3-4 people, it gets a little hectic. It gets a little crazy. Sometimes people can't get their point across because, you know, other people may not like what they're hearing. This is straight up, raw, rugged type conversation, you know, where the guest gets to say everything 100% with clear and clarity. And I get to say everything with clear and clarity with no interruptions or interference from anybody else. So this is one-on-one. Again, this is not going to be a scheduled weekly thing due to the nature, because I have to coordinate with the guests and their time. And I'm trying to get the most, you know, controversial mind personalities out there, you know? And we just put it all on the table. So one-on-one with The Rock. And today's first guest of the show to start this segment is LIVEWIRESGAMER. Hey, LiveWires, what's up, brother? What's going on?
Yo, what's good, man? Thanks for inviting me on Porter Rock. Yeah, we both obviously look at things from a different spectrum, but, you know, I respect, you know, the angles in which you take. And when we converse on Twitter, it's all respect. You ain't out here talking crazy, and I don't do you the same way, obviously, because otherwise you wouldn't put me on your show. So thanks, man.
So awesome, man. I appreciate it. I'll put your stuff in the description box like I do with all guests and stuff. But we're going to kick this off. We're going to kick off the one-on-one with, you know, now this all started, what was it, about 2 days ago? I think it was 3 days ago. I made a video called Class in Sessions. You know, got to teach something to the Xbox community. And that conversation, if you check out the video, it'll be as an end card at the end. But ultimately, it came down to exclusives and the importance of it. And it was kind of difficult to explain to people on Twitter because you only could say so much. You know what I'm saying? Now, what the point was I was trying to say was that exclusives obviously is not the end-all be-all of a console seller. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff. Power, resolution, online, where your friends play, which has the most advertising. There's a lot of, you know, aspects to a popular console. But one of those aspects has always been exclusives. That's always been a part. Not the definitive part, but it's been a part. Now, my argument was this. If you had a gamer, and I use PlayStation as an example, because every time I mention Xbox, everybody takes it the wrong way. So I tried to use PlayStation as an example to see if everybody understood. If you had a gamer, right, a normal average gamer that was deciding, hey, I'm going to buy, you know, it doesn't even have to be a super beast PC. He or she just wants a gaming platform. But they decide, hey, it's either PC or PlayStation. Damn, I don't know what to get. And then they look at the library and they realize PlayStation 4 has Uncharted and Bloodborne, right? And they're thinking, you know what? I really want to play those games. I'm going to get a PS4. Boom. They got the PS4. They connected to their TV. They didn't get a PC. They went with a console, and they're enjoying it. Now, because they got that console in their house, all the multiplats that come with the console, games that are also on PC, they're going to get it on the PS4 because that's the only platform they got. So the Maddens, the 2Ks, I use Street Fighter, Dragon Age as an example, Metal Gear Solid 5, and Batman. All those games, all those multiplats that are sold on the PS4, Sony gets a royalty fee. And this is something that Microsoft, Nintendo, they all get royalty fees when third party releases their game on their platform. That is the moneymaker. It's royalties over third party games. All right. That was the point. Now, I said, let's flip the script. Let's pretend Sony creates an app on PC, kind of like, you know, Steam and what Microsoft is doing. And they'll call it the PlayStation Store on PC. So we'll call it PS4 on PC, you know, PlayStation on PC. So now that same gamer making a choice, thinking, damn, I want to play Uncharted and Bloodborne. Oh, shit, it's on PC too? Cool. I'm going to get a PC then, since I won't miss out on these PlayStation first-party exclusives. So they buy a PC, doesn't have to be super beast, just enough to run at 1080p, 60 frames, or hell, whatever, even a gaming laptop, just something, to play. Nothing hardcore, nothing crazy, just enough to play games and enjoy it. They go to the PlayStation Store. They purchase Bloodborne Uncharted. Granted, Sony makes the money. The exclusive sold on this app, they made money. But where everything changes now is that gamer is not going to continue on that store to buy the multiplats. They're going to download the Steam app because that's the most popular application on PC. And they're going to play Batman, Phantom Pain, the 2Ks, the Madden, the Street Fighter. All those games are going to be bought on Steam. Sony doesn't see a dime. You understand what I'm saying? So my point is this, and you tell me how you think about this. Sony's strategy, they don't really care about the hardcore PC gamer that will never buy a console. What they're concerned about is consumers who could potentially not buy a PS4 because now they could play PS4 games on PC. That is who Sony's going after. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just one strategy of how to make your platform the most competitive platform there is. Again, it's not the end or be all, but it certainly doesn't hurt your platform by keeping exclusives. What do you think about that, brother?
I mean, exclusives are still important to an extent, but they're just not as important as they once were. I mean, it's just evident. Just look at the game sales we saw during the 360 and PS3 era versus, the exclusive sales now. It's like fucking night and day. Like it's crazy the way all those games have jumped down. Like 3 million used to be like average. That wasn't even like wow. That was just like, oh okay, did okay. Like now that shit is like, oh shit, 3 million, oh my god. And to me it's like, Xbox having its games on PC, even though people say, well, I have a choice between, PC and Xbox, and I'll choose PC. That doesn't happen as much as you think it would, because if it did, then the sales on Xbox games on PC would be way higher than what they are. That's just the crazy part. Like you want to hear about people not finding people on Gears on PC. Like that shit wouldn't happen because everybody who said that, oh fuck it, I'm not gonna play. I don't have to get an Xbox for Gears. I'll play that shit on PC. They be playing it on PC, but they're not. So it's just like, they talk like they do, but they're not really doing the shit that they say they're doing. So, to me, I think console gamers, if they have a choice, look, man, if you give me a choice between a PC and a console, they both do the same thing, but you're telling me that the console, well, obviously not the same. I can't do Word and all that shit, but they both play the games the same way. But you're telling me one is like $500 cheaper. I'm gonna go with the console. I mean, even though the PC's there for $500 more, whatever the fuck more it is, it's just, to me, it's like, console is just more structured and geared towards like, all right, it's just for gaming. I don't have to worry about shit running in the background. I don't have to worry about none of that shit. I just play the fucking game, And to me, I just don't see how exclusives hold that much weight anymore, especially when you're talking about what's the highest selling game. I think Uncharted is the highest selling for PlayStation, and probably Halo is the highest. Halo 5 is probably the highest selling for the Xbox, and neither one of them are hitting 10 mil as of yet, or at least I don't think fucking Halo has yet. But both of their user bases are over 25, so it's not even half. So to me, it's like if half of your people aren't even playing that exclusive, it's not as big of a deal. Especially when like most of those people are playing Grand Theft Auto and COD and Battlefield and all that other shit. Like those are the games those people buy. Multiplats, even the shitty ones. Like remember what Titanfall? They that didn't come out to great sales when it initially launched, but it just hit MPDs. So it is what it is, man. And I don't know. I wish that exclusives got bigger bang. The only place they get that bang is Nintendo, because that's all they have is exclusives. But I don't know.
Okay, I'll say this.
I thought-
That's good points. I'll say this. Like I said, when I talk about exclusive, I don't talk about being the end all be all. Because you said, like you said, multiplats are pretty much the dominant sales force behind the industry. That's why it's so important to have those royalties. You know, because I guarantee Sony's making much more money off the multiplat royalty fees than the sales of their own exclusive. Even if their exclusive were on PC, they will still make much more money. You understand? Because like Zaire says, fucking exclusive comes out every 4 months. A multiplat comes out every Tuesday, and every multiplat that gets sold on the PlayStation, Sony gets a check. Every single one of them.
Yeah.
Right? So now, let's take like, and if you look at last year, let's take Gears of War last year. Let's take Gears of War. I think the highest selling Gears of War was 3, and that's like at 8-9 million, and out of a fan base out of 85 million. I think people looking at game penetration the wrong way. And what I mean by that is because a lot of people say, oh, this game only sold 2-3 million, but there's 50 million, 60 million, 70 million, 100 million users. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you look up on the PS2, Shadow of Colossus, which was a great game, a popular game, it sold like 2 million, but the PS4 has like 150 million fucking units sold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What people got to look at when they see console sales, they can't look at it as what percentage of gamers on that console is going to buy the game. What they got to look at it as, what is the probability of that game reaching? Let's say like if a game, its success point is 2 million. You know what I'm saying? That where is it going to be more successful, on a console with 10 million users or on a console with 100 million users?
Yeah,
but chances are the console with 100 million users is going to be able to buy 2 million copies. That's how the industry needs to look at it.
But you know what's funny though? Like each console has their own issues, right? As far as what games sell. And if you notice the trend on Xbox, a lot of people that say, oh, well, this game didn't sell well and that game didn't sell well. If you notice all the games that don't sell well on Xbox, what are they lacking?
Online.
Exactly. They're lacking multiplayer.
Yeah.
Quantum Break, no multiplayer. And when people think of Xbox, what do they think of? Online. So it's like those are the type of games that should be on that console because those people expect those type of services. And you know, PlayStation, yes, they do expect those things too. But when you buy a PlayStation, you think of an epic single player type of experience. If you can get that on Xbox, wonderful. If you can get that on PlayStation with some multiplayer like Uncharted, wonderful. But nobody goes out and says, you know what? I played the new Uncharted and its multiplayer was amazing. Did you play the story? Nah, bro. I've been playing the multiplayer. People are like, what the fuck? You smoking? That'd be like, I mean, that'd be like, well, I wouldn't say Halo's the only game that's like people play both. I mean, I can't really think of too many other games where people, you know, play both the multiplayer and the single player equally. You know, that's why Halo had such backlash because of its single player mode. It felt like in between Halo, you know. And if you're, you know, if you play Halo Wars 2, I mean, granted, most people, I would say a small percentage, maybe 3 million people will buy. Maybe 3 million people will buy Halo Wars because of the RTS, you know. And for RTS, that's pretty. I think it's because of the multiplayer. Like I said, man, multiplayer sells. I mean, I understand multiplayer sells, but I don't see RTS being. You know, it's like one of those PC type games. You know what I'm talking about? It's a very PC. Yeah, no. I see what you're saying, but I think over time, like, it's not gonna blow. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not. If at the end of what month is at the end of March they said Halo Wars sold 1 mil, I'll be shocked myself because I'll be like, damn, that's crazy as hell. Like 1 mil for RTS, you know, it's not a first person shooter, but I think over time, because what I think they're gonna do is they're doing like a Halo every 4 years. So a Halo every 2 years, but a traditional Halo every 4. So you'll have like Halo 5 was 2 years ago. Now we have Halo Wars right now. So then the next one will be Halo 6 2 years from now. And then 2 years from then it will be Halo Wars 3 or whatever. Like it's almost on some Marvel type cycle, the way they have these two games intertwined with each other. You know, which is cool. And I can see, and both of them are multiplayer and they have that multiplayer aspect. Like you could see esports written all over this shit if you play it. Like the game is dope, but like I said, it ain't for everybody. So like those that like it, they'll love it. But you know, if you're not an RTS fan, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, bro, you said something more sensible. You said something more sensible that I couldn't. That I just couldn't. How can I put it? I tried to say the same thing on the multiplayer podcast. You know what I'm saying? But when you got a combination of Zaire D, fucking all day, and K Mega all in one fucking loop, there's just no getting through to them. I was telling them, like, one of the reasons why Quantum Break flopped, I telling them I think it was more because of the lack of multiplayer than it is the Saint Point pre. I got it. The resolution was bad. You know, you're a gamer bash. Yeah. But like I said, I have friends. When I try to explain to them, I have friends who don't read Eurogamer. They don't care for that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But what they do know is multiplayer. That's why they have an Xbox. And these guys brag about it on the multiplayer podcast. They're saying, you know, that Xbox Live is that good pussy. You understand? But what I'm trying to say is if you bring out a game like Quantum Break, right? If Xbox Live is that good pussy, and excuse my language, then Quantum Break's a freaking chastity belt because you can't do nothing with it with that good pussy. You know what I'm saying? If Xbox Live is that good pussy, then Quantum Break's a chastity belt because you can't do nothing with it. And when I told my friends,
you know what Quantum Break is? Quantum Break is fucking Xbox's JRPG. That's what it is. I mean, that's what it is. It's like it's not something that traditionally sells well on the console, but it's like something that they need to have for their fan base.
I mean, I get it, but they try to say they don't understand why it didn't blow up. And I try to use my casual friends who are textbook casual. This is the audience that makes the game 3-4 million sales. So when they saw, you know, they only get their info either from me or when they walk in a GameStop store and they see a poster. That's about it. They don't even follow Twitter or YouTube. So when they asked me about the game, they didn't even know the name of the game. They just said that dude from X-Men, who's Iceman. I knew exactly who they're talking about, the actor. I was like, oh, you're talking about Quantum Break. And I had to tell them that it was the developers who made Max Payne. And they were like, oh, shit, that game is dope. The question they asked me after was, what multiplayer modes does it have? Co-op, deathmatch, what does it do? And I told them it doesn't have multiplayer at all. After I said that, they're like, fuck it, I ain't wasting my time.
Actually, I don't think they do multiplayer games.
Does it?
I don't think they've done multiplayer games.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, and a lot of people respond, well, you know, Remedy don't do multiplayer games. And I'm like, I understand that. I know Remedy's history. But my friends don't. They don't care. They don't know who Kojima is or Phil Spencer. They don't care who the developer is. If the game looks cool, does it have multiplayer? And the answer was no. So they had no interest in purchasing a game that they can't play co-op. You know, and that's the thing with Xbox Live. Xbox Live is touted as the best online network. So there's a gift and a curse. You can't brag about having the best online network and the most sociable atmosphere online and then think they're going to buy a game that doesn't take advantage of that.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's
that game fell like it was basically a leftover from the Donnie Matrick era because I mean that game came with the whole TV integrated. They were supposed to have TV shows and all that other shit. So basically they're building that game. You're telling people, all right, we're gonna have a TV show. That was the big advertisement. It's like this TV like game in the game experience. And then it's like, oh man, we got to scrap this shit because motherfuckers don't like it. Granted, motherfuckers ain't like having to pay for Connect. I think that's what more than it was like, all right, you making me pay for Connect and you're not giving me nothing to do with it. Like
that was like Microsoft did so much wrong. And you couldn't. I don't have no fingers to point.
Like to me, it could have been a lot of like, all right, one, you have the Connect Sports Rival comes out dumb late. It's supposed to come out day and date, came out late. So that's an issue. You don't have any third parties really supporting it. There's no third parties even making creative game. Like I'm trying to think. Do we have any creative games? Like you create your character, maybe what was the Origins or whatever?
I don't know.
Dragon Age Origins was the last game I can remember that you create your own character's face. All these other games, they just give you some generic character and you just play with them, right? So there's no point in face scanning. I mean, they do have that option for 2K, but they use the PlayStation camera as the standard. So the Xbox One comes out looking like fucking mud shit. Like you look like a fucked up a creature from a doggone Clayface and shit. It's like they just was like, you know, Kinect is like a very specific type of camera, whereas the PlayStation camera is just a camera.
Yeah.
So it's like they're trying to implement what they use on PlayStation. They're not fucking. They're just porting it. They don't. It's like fuck it, whatever. They don't like it. They'll fucking do it themselves. You know, we got to focus on Sony. That's their partner. So I get that. You know, so you know, with that being said, and then Madden doesn't do it. You know, which you would like, oh, EA, you would think creative. I don't think anybody makes creative player in Madden. There's no point in doing it because they don't have a mode that even worth doing that for. So it's like, fuck it. Like you have no purpose for this camera outside of fucking doing live streams on Twitch. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's like you said, you hit on it now. To sell something for $500 and tell consumers it's because of the camera, and they could barely do anything with them. With it, that don't sit well. You understand what I'm saying? It just didn't sit well. The one thing they tried to push was a lot of media features, and I think that was Donnie Matrix's vision. His vision was he wanted Xbox to be like the iPhone of the console industry, where it's not just one thing that you do; it's known for multiple things. You understand?
Yeah.
That it does a lot of media features, it's a lot of entertainment, which could get a lot of consumers. The problem is, and Don Matrix didn't see this coming, console gamers are fucking finicky. You understand what I'm saying? When you do something to their consoles, they will fucking punish your ass for doing some like shit. PlayStation went through the same shit. Sony went through the same shit with the PS3. When they started pushing that Blu-ray shit and cell processing, because Sony wanted to make money off of, you know, the PS3 was the test bed for the cell processor that Sony was manufacturing, and they wanted to put it in toasters and refrigerators and future PCs. They got their head fucking kicked in. You know what I'm saying? That huge mistake got their shit pushed in. You understand? And I say this, and the only reason why we're like that is because when you look at our industry for console gaming, even if you include Nintendo, let's say the Switch is a console. Let's call it a console, just for the sake of argument. We only have 3 consoles. That is it in our gaming industry. You look at any other product, there's more manufacturers making kids tablet, not tablets in general, just kids-oriented tablet than there are companies making console games. So when a console developer does shit sideways to try to change our console, the gamers are gonna flip the fuck out, and you know the company's gonna pay. Sony went through it, Nintendo went through it. Look at the fucking Wii U. That motherfucker got fucking shitted on. You know what I'm saying? No one was buying that motherfucker. You know, and Microsoft went through that turn. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes they call it the third console curse, and that was Microsoft's third console.
To be honest, the Kinect beating the moves is probably the best thing that happened to Sony because they didn't have to put the camera in the box because it was already not considered to be. Mm-hmm. It wasn't considered to be a complete failure, but it wasn't considered to be a success.
Yeah, it didn't grasp nobody.
Whereas the Kinect, it was almost like they had to put it in because it was like investors were like, yo, this shit just made 10 mil. Like, you got to put the shit in the box. You have to. You know, like, we got to have it. We got to sell more Kinects. You know, and, like, unfortunately, at that time, they weren't listening to the, you know, Twitter wasn't really popping at that time as of yet. It was coming into its own. But, like, people weren't paying attention. They weren't really listening to what was going on. And then you have a console that comes out and is weaker. So that just fucked it all up. Like, it would have been different if a Kinect came out, but they were on the same, like, they were on par. All the games played the same. And then you were like, all right, fuck it, take it out the box. You know, the blow would have been less.
Yeah.
You know, it was perceived to be weaker. Now people are looking at it like, not only is it weaker, it's weaker because of the Kinect.
Yes.
We fucking hate you. We fucking hate the Kinect. And that's what the shit was like. And that's kind of what the backlash with the games are. Like, even to this day, like, I feel like reviewers review games, knock 10 points off, man. Like, they'll find anything. They'll fucking shit on a game just cause, like, shit, Forza Horizon, man. It was giving that bitch 2s. I was like, God damn, how the fuck you get Forza a 2?
Those are fucking trolls.
That shit.
Added, yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying those are like,
the sad part is they get added to the Metacritic. Like, there's no, and that's just how the business is. But yeah, man, like when I saw the 2s on Forza, I'm like, they just trying to get hits. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. You cannot like a game and not like a genre, but then at the same time, it's like, one, why the fuck are you even reviewing it?
Yeah, then if
Exactly.
exactly.
That'd be like,
If you don't like
that
the
like
genre,
being in
then
front
leave
of
it alone.
fucking Persona 5 and be like, review Persona 5. Have you played any Persona? Nah, I don't really even know what the fuck that is. Hey, review
Leave
this
it
shit.
alone.
And be like, and I give it like a 4, and motherfuckers want to be like lynch me and shit. Be like, you don't understand and appreciate the true, beauty of this game. Like, you don't even understand how to fucking do, turn-based RPGs. I'm like, yes, I don't know. My boss made me do it. I didn't want to do it.
Yeah. That's true. Like, if you don't review racing games, then don't review any of them. Because you know what I'm saying? Your perception is going to be skewed. You don't understand the genre. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
It's crazy. The other crazy thing is like, all right, even with that, I think a lot of Xbox gamers get a lot of flack for being pissed off at reviews you get, because it'll be like a company. It's like, all right, these are the standards. The game has to have this, it has to have that, and it has to have this. And Xbox didn't have this. Okay, PlayStation did. Okay, all right, we get it. Now Xbox got to come in. They got to bring this, and this. And all of a sudden they do that, and then they're like, well, they didn't do this and this. You're like, hold up. You didn't even have that shit on the list before. Well, it's on there now, bitch. Well, like, what the fuck, yo?
yeah.
It's like, yo, you can't win. It's like they always gotta. I don't know, man. It's crazy conspiracy theories with it, but it's like, I guess a lot of people just want it to be fair. Why? Because we want to know what games are good to get. We get tired of going out and buying the game, and then you telling us it's great, and then we get it, and it's like, it's all right. Like, it's okay. Like, to me, like, I know some people argue with me, but like, to me, Shadow of Mordor isn't all that to me. It's okay. Like, people talking about, oh, this is the greatest game. It's all right, man. Like, if you fucking look at the map, it's nothing but it's just wide open nothingness. Like it is what it is, man. I mean, the mechanics are cool and everything, and the fighting is great, but you get beyond that, especially if you're not a fucking Lord of the Rings type person. It's like, all right, okay, I guess.
I actually liked Shadow of Mordor. But like I said, I like the Lord of the Rings. I mean, I think here's the main thing. When I look at reviews, I don't read the part where if the reviewer is trying to say the game is fun, I don't listen to that part, because that review's definition of fun won't be the same as mine, or whatever. What I try to look at reviews is like the technical shit. And I'm not talking about resolution. I'm talking about, if the game crashes, or if they notice it, like if there's, frame rate hits that make it unplayable, it drops down to like 5 frames and shit like that. I just look at the technical quality of the game. And I'm not saying like if the game runs at something, like right now I'm playing Neo in 720p 60. You know what I'm saying? So I was never this 1080p fucking 1080p or die fucking gamer. I don't really care about that. You know what I'm saying? A good looking game's a good looking game to me, whatever. I just want to make sure that the game doesn't, or like if the game's advertised to do one thing, like for example, No Man's Sky, perfect example. When I read the reviews of No Man's Sky, the way the game came out wasn't what was advertised. You know what I'm saying? I thought there was like a story and you actually did shit. Like you had to like fight on planets and fucking like there's a story. Kind of like a Mass Effect. Not so big as Mass Effect, but I thought you actually did shit.
But even if it didn't have a story, it'd be all right. If it wasn't like, oh, okay, build a ship, fly for 5 minutes, then dock for an hour to rebuild the ship, and then fucking fly for another 5 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. If it had a point to it, but that's not a point, But they advertised it, or not directly, but they quietly advertised it as if you actually did shit other than just craft and fly away. And I can't stand crafting.
It kind of played like a weird PC game. Like, it played more like a PC game than it did a PlayStation game.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like an unfinished game. Like, they didn't have achievements for a lot. I mean, not achievements. They didn't have like like awarding you for doing certain things in which that you would expect to get in that game, in that type of game. Like, like getting similar to like Destiny and shit. Like, if they could literally take what Destiny had, but getting away from the whole farming thing and kind of fuse that into No Man's Sky, I think people would have loved it.
Yeah.
But it was just like,
It's just literally you're just on the planet, build shit, and then you fly away. And that's the shit what I look for in reviews. Is the game really advertised as what they say it is? And is it a technical mess? Is it fucked up? Does it need constant patching? Are there bugs? You know, shit like that. That's what I look for in a game. You understand? But I don't look at a reviewer. Oh, this game is boring as hell. It doesn't make because we may not have the same taste.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, because
the one thing
I remember Alien. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the one thing I give reviews this gen, if you notice from compared to last gen, you don't see that many 90 scores like you're used to back then. Back then, it was fucking insane. It seemed like every fucking month there was a game that was getting 93s or 94s. And when you play them, you're like, this fucking game is nowhere near a 93. So I would say the only thing I would say about this gen is they're a lot more critical. I can only think of a handful of 90 plus games that's been, averaging at Metacritic. So I'll give them that much for this gen.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. So, real quick.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Microsoft moving their E3 to Sunday and that potentially being when they unveil Scorpio and not having like a Scorpio separate event? I mean, they can still do it, but they haven't announced anything. So let's assume that E3 is when they're going to announce Scorpio. How do you feel about that? Do you have any concerns? Do you think it's great? What's your? Have you thought about that?
To me, it will make more sense to do two different events. Okay. To do an actual Scorpio reveal with maybe like 2 or 3 games, not unknown games, like games we know, maybe games we like Mass Effect or something like that, something that's already out, maybe The Witcher, and maybe like Forza or something like that, and you show off the differences and be like, all right, and then you can say all the games that, all the maybe like older games that are getting enhancements for it, and that's fine. And then be like, meet us at E3, and we're gonna talk about more shit. That would be fine. Just because it's like, all right, you already built a buzz, so now everybody's waiting to go to E3. Versus, I mean, you could do it all on one day, but that shit some people might actually die in the audience because from overexposure. It might be too much.
All right.
Like, I mean, depending on what it is, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that the games are going to be, really good as far as the third party. The first party we don't know, too much about them. I mean, we ever waiting on Crackdown, but I'm talking about the stuff we haven't even heard about yet. So, it's a wait and see. But I mean, if they have that much content, I'm just hoping it's just not all fucking console talk, because they could literally talk tons of shit about their console, like at the little Microsoft pressers that they always do, like, cut up in the during the week of E3. So it's like, I don't know.
Now,
I mean,
think of it now. Just a question. So let's say Scorpio's gonna be. Let's say they do what the announcement. How do you think Microsoft could fuck it up? What would be, in your opinion, an L for the conference? Or do you think there's no way that the conference will be bad simply because Scorpio's being announced? You foresee if Microsoft, let's say, what would your idea would be Microsoft's boo-boo that you're afraid of, or that you would think be like, if Microsoft only does this, they're fucking it up? What would you think that would be?
The only way they could really fuck it up is they haven't like really talked over their message again. It'd be like E3 2013 all over again. Because the worst shit about the E3 2013 wasn't about it wasn't their original message. It was after it. It was like, all right, is it Kinect? Can it be taken out? Well, I don't know. Can it? Well, we don't know. And then you like 5 other people. It's like fucking Donald Trump's freaking cabinet. It's like all over the place. Everybody's giving you different answers for the same question. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And that's where it's like, that's where they got to make sure their shit's in order. It's like, y'all got to talk. I mean, and I can say that at least under Phil, it seems like everybody, for the most part, they're all on the same page. Like, we don't really get those moments where, like, it's always like somebody who's just like talking some wild shit out of nowhere. Like, oh, what the fuck? Where's that come from? That's not on message with everything else. Mm-hmm. So as long as they stay on message, and whatever that message is, if it's going to be, are you going to do 4K, uncompromised, or whatever it is you're going to be talking, stick to that message. Don't Don't say 4K and then turn around and be like, well, you know, it's going to be checkerboard 90%. Be like, well, what the fuck, man? Which one is it?
Would that be a big thing for you? Let's say if they show on stage, they show certain games that are running 4K. Let's say they show Forza Horizon 3. Well, let's say the upcoming Forza Motorsport 7, right? That's where they are. Yeah. Let's say they show that at 4K, right? And then let's say they show a few third-party games at 4K, whatever. And then after, you know, the E3, you know, when they have the floor open to everybody and developers and everybody's counting P's and shit, because everybody's going to count P's, they start releasing news that, hey, certain games aren't whatchamacallit, native 4K. Some games are doing this checkerboarding or a more advanced, you know, type of PC fucking thing, right? And Microsoft starts coming out. Well, not all games will run on native 4K. It's up to the developers and it's up to whatever to include our first party studio. How would you think that reaction would be?
Yeah, well,
if there's lots of, not just a little, because you know there's always going to be 1 or 2 games that might not hit native 4K.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It might, you know, it's going to happen. And nothing's perfect, whether for one reason or another. But let's say it's not the exception. It's like it's literally a 50-50 chance. Some games will be native, some games will be checkerboard, or some type of more advanced thing. How would you think that would be react?
Like, to me, like I said before, it kind of has to be whatever their message is. Like if they're saying it's going to be 4K, all this stuff, I'm assuming that you spoke to the devs about it, you know, because like even though PlayStation Pro didn't necessarily, like, they had their issues came from people actually playing the game more so than, I mean, because yeah, they did have that whole, you know, 4K, it's a real 4K, but like most of the devs, they said it's 4K on stage. They said, oh yeah, we're gonna have 4K, and then like later they're like, well, it's 1440p checkerboard, but it's, you can't see the difference. You know, it's like that type of 4K. You know, but if that's gonna be said, like they gotta say that shit. But to me, more importantly, I gotta see the difference. You know, because before all this resolution wild shit happened, if the game looked noticeably better, that's all that really fucking mattered. From the jump, back to when we was playing Nintendo and shit. Like, if the game looked better, that's what fucking mattered. I think we need to get back to that.
Graphic fidelity.
Yeah, I mean, I think what, you know, I don't want to be like, oh, this is all Digital Foundry's fault. But it's just like, they made their niche, and I get it. But the fact that they made it, everybody uses it like, well, that's got to be the end all be all. Fuck your eyes. Look at the numbers. You know, like, I don't know, man.
Let me ask you this. So let's say Scorpio comes out, it's native 4K. You know what I'm saying? Microsoft delivers. It actually delivers on what it's promised. Has risen, you know, all that fucking technical shit, right? $500, powerful beast, third-party multi-plats or exclusives, native 4K. Some will run at 30, some will run at 60, whatever, but it's native 4K either way, right?
Okay.
This console comes out in November, and it doesn't sell as big as everyone expected, only because the narrative changed to gaming. How would you feel about that at that point? The narrative changed now. Now it's different. Now the landscape is different. It's no longer 2013, 2014. It's now 2017, and it just doesn't. I mean, I'm not saying it fails. I'm just saying it's not what some of the people in the Xbox community expected. It didn't take off like a rocket ship. You understand what I'm saying? And the number one, and then when like the surveys or whatever, it's because now everybody's saying it's about the games. How would you react? How would you react, and how do you think everybody else will react?
I mean, how bad are we talking? Are we talking like the pro bad? Or are we talking like?
Well, let's say like this. I'll say this. Let's say not even pro bad. Let's just say November comes out, PlayStation still wins NPD in November. Let's just say that.
That's understandable.
Okay.
I mean, you know, and the only reason why I say that is because the pro is dealing with such an issue right now that we're literally looking at the pro like, do I need it? Like, this shit over here is $100 off. Shit, this shit is $150 cheaper. Fuck, do I really need a pro? Like, I'm not really seeing the benefits. So I don't know. PlayStation still might win because it's like, you know, I think people will still buy the regular PlayStation because it's good enough. You know, it might, yeah, it's not as good as the Pro, but the Pro isn't like, you know, light years ahead. I think that's what the issue is.
Now,
I
do
think.
you think that will apply to Xbox between the Xbox One S versus
Oh no.
Scorpio? Do you think gamers will be like, you know what? You know, this upscales to 4K, and by that,
I'm telling you, that shit's gonna look different. I mean, think about it. If people are talking about they can see the difference between a PS4 and an Xbox One,
yeah,
you're talking about some, and you got to remember, Xbox for a long time, people have been talking about, oh man, that's not even real resolution. That's dynamic. That's we don't like that. What is that? That's that dynamic shit, man. Get out of here with that dynamic shit. That's that dynamic bullshit, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn around and be like, hold up, this dynamic shit allows you to fucking boost up the resolution without having to fucking need a patch. Oh shit, these motherfuckers was on to something. You know, maybe that's why for the last 2 years we've been getting dynamic resolution and shit like that, because they knew they was making something that was going to be able to boost it up.
Now I'll say that.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, finish. Go ahead.
No, just saying. So from the jump, like once you put your game in, these old ass games that were doing dynamic resolution, you should see a big difference.
All right. So I'll just say this: if you look at all through console generations, never once have a more powerful but more expensive console dominated a weaker console from the jump. I mean, even look. I'll give you a perfect example: the Xbox 360. When that console launched, hell, the PlayStation 2 was outselling 360 and the PS3 well into 2007.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a console that's not even HD. It was old, and it was already over 100 million sales.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it was still outselling the 360 and the PS3, both of them. It was still like if you look at NPDs in 2006 and early 2007, the PlayStation 2 was still the number one selling console month after month after month. Then number 2 was 360. Well, really, fucking the Wii. Well, Wii came out in 2006. But that's beside the point. The point what I'm trying to say is, rarely have you seen more powerful but more expensive hardware outsell the weaker hardware. Now, check this out. I think some people think that Scorpio is going to have the advantage that PlayStation 4 had when it launched, which is not. It's going to have the power advantage. So Scorpio is going to be the more powerful console. We'll find out if it runs all games native 4K, but let's say it does. Let's make that assumption that it does.
Yeah.
All right. But there's a lot of more things Scorpio does not have that PlayStation 4 did have in 2013. Okay. Number one, PlayStation 4 came out the same month as the Xbox One. So, and it was cheaper than the Xbox One. So Scorpio doesn't have the price advantage. Number two, it doesn't have the marketing advantage. PlayStation, when it first launched, it took the Call of Duty marketing rights. It took the Destiny marketing rights, and you saw that bundle sold out. It took the Batman marketing rights. It took the Star Wars marketing rights. You know what I'm saying? So those advertisements or marketing rights sells consoles. This year, Scorpio's not getting any of that. The Destiny 2 marketing rights. The Red Dead Redemption marketing rights. The Mass Effect marketing rights, the Star Wars Battlefront 2 marketing rights. That's all going to PlayStation, as well as the Call of Duty.
That's a lot of fucking money they spending out here.
See, this is what's funny. Everybody keeps saying Sony broke, but I'm thinking, yo, do they not realize how much money they're spending on everything, on all these marketing rights? And
I think that this, but
you see, now think about this one.
To try to get a small advantage.
What happened? Do you think? Look at it this way. Everybody keeps thinking. Think about it this way. Let's say if you go on a store shelf and you got Scorpio, $500, right? And it's a box. Maybe you might pack in crack now. But then to the right of it, or $250, not even $250, because at that point in November, that shit would be like $200. Star Wars Bundle 2 with a PlayStation Slim, or Red Dead Redemption for $200. You see what I'm saying? You see that these are advantages Scorpio will have. Now, I'm not saying Scorpio won't have the brute force. It will have the brute force. But you look at a Scorpio $500 box, and you look at a $200 PlayStation, and it has Red Dead Redemption 2 on the cover, and let's say they do some slick shit like the console's red. It's gonna take, you know what I'm saying? And then when people be like, all right, so what's up with the Scorpio? Oh, it's $500, but you need a 4K TV. They're gonna be like, what the fuck? Nah, fuck that. And I'm gonna drop 2 bones on this shit, and I'll get Red Dead Redemption that comes in the box. And those are things people got to look at. PlayStation 4 didn't have the power advantage, but it had a price advantage, and it had the marketing rights. You know what I'm saying? When they put that Darth Vader's face on that fucking console, that shit sold like a motherfucker, and it was just his fucking face. Do you think that's an important key for Microsoft to try? I mean, they don't. I don't know what. Maybe I don't know what's going to be announced at E3. Yeah, but do you think it's an important part of them trying to finally get back some of these marketing rights for big AAA multiplat, so that way they could put it on the box? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what multiplat's going to come out this fucking E3, but something like they put something on the box besides Madden. You know what I'm saying?
I think they're going to have marketing rights for whatever games, right? The thing I was thinking price is going to be a big thing. So if it's 500 versus 400, obviously it's going to sell less at 5 than it would at 4, just because the price is a little bit more intimidating to a gamer. Doesn't mean shit, because it's like, if you want it, you'll buy it, you'll find a way to get it.
I say to a hardcore gamer.
Yeah, to a hardcore gamer.
Yeah, to four gamers that all they do is the Maddens and Call of Duties.
Yeah,
not that many.
Yeah, but at $400, that shit becomes a lot more appealing.
Yeah,
because you can make it for a higher level gamer. Maybe not somebody who's on a budget, but like somebody who has some money and willing to spend it for Christmas. If you telling them for $400 you can get this super beast console that plays all the multiplats, has some console exclusives, right? You still have your PlayStation, because a lot of people already have fucking PlayStation.
Yeah.
So unless you're really in the mood to go buy another fucking PlayStation for whatever reason, to me it makes like the Scorpio at $400 would just make the Pro obsolete. It'd be like, what's the point of having this? I might as well not even get it, because you're telling me the Pro is going to make multiplats better, but the Scorpio makes more multiplats look way better. So it's like, I might as well get that for $400, keep my PlayStation, which still does comparable to the Pro anyway. So it's like, it's a win-win. I could have the regular PS4 and the Xbox Scorpio. That's $600, because assuming that PlayStation probably, it got to 212, so say it's about 200.
All right.
So and that's not fucking bad right there. If the price is at $399, if it's at $5, yes, it'll probably sell a lot less. So, and that probably be the difference between $1 million. Between like selling 1 million at 500 versus 2 million at 4.
Now you're thinking like on the first month. You think Scorpio's going to sell 1 million the first month?
No, I'm talking about in the for the Black Friday combined, all the way up until December.
Yeah, combined.
I mean, if it sells, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm just saying I don't know what people's budgets are. We don't know what the hell Donald Trump is doing. It's a long ways off. We don't know. Fucking half of America could be blown up by then. We don't know.
Now, do you think? Let me ask you this: do you think the current sales of the Xbox One S is going to hinder Scorpio? Like right now, in January, Microsoft announced they sold the most Xbox. Now they didn't win NPD, but within its own numbers, they sold the most Xbox One consoles for the month of January as compared to other Januaries they had.
No, well, that's because people are still buying 4K TVs.
Yeah, so. But I'm saying this: so all those people who bought an Xbox One S, do you think they're going to buy a Scorpio 10 months later? Or do you think
maybe not them? Probably not them. You know what? It's hard to say. It depends on who's buying it. It depends on who, because like, is this their first Xbox or is this their second or third? Like, it depends on who's really buying these Xboxes.
So let's go with the first part. This is their first Xbox. They made the jump. They paid $200, whatever, $220. They got a 4K TV, and now they got the console that does HDR, upscales 4K, plays movies. Boom, they got it, and they bought it in January. Do you think that group is going to go out and buy another console at $400 or $500? Just
probably not. They're probably not going to buy another console or any games. Like shit. I mean, even though I know a lot of people that buy consoles and play games, I know a lot of people that buy consoles and don't play no games. Like they buy them and then they just sit there and they use that bitch for Netflix and that's it.
Okay.
That's like Xbox and PlayStation. Like they just be like, yeah, dude, I came over here. I thought you were gonna be playing whatever. Like I have a friend that had PlayStation for like since its launch, never played Uncharted, never played it, like not once. This is crazy. Like, what do you play on the fucking Call of Duty and fucking Dead? What's that game? Not Dead Rising. What the fuck is that game? That space game. It was like
Dead Space.
Dead Space. Yeah, you played that and Batman. It was like that was it, man.
Yo, crazy. But there's a lot of gamers like that. There's a lot of gamers that are that's what I call like casuals. All they do is like Call of Duty.
Yeah, but that's why
maybe a game here or there. Like the only game consistently you will see is 2K, Madden, Call of Duty. Consistently. Anything else? Let's say like if a Grand Theft Auto comes out or if a Red Dead Redemption comes out, something big, and they do it.
Yeah, and they'll play it for a month and they won't beat it. Like it's like most people that own like so when people are say, well, why do people buy? Look, PlayStation is more popular. It's just more popular. It's going to be the most purchased console, and it'll be also the most non-used purchased console because like the same shit happens on Xbox. People buy Xboxes and don't play them. It's just that they're going to buy more people bought PlayStation, so there's going to be more people that bought PlayStation and don't play it.
Yeah, that's pretty much same thing. Like any
that's why the disparity in the games purchase is like that. Like, there's no reason for fucking Uncharted to be like 8 mil if it has 53 million consoles sold or whatever, almost 60. It's because everybody who buys a console isn't playing games. They just don't. They probably don't even remember they have the shit. They'd be like, oh shit, I forgot I bought that.
True. Yeah, I would say that goes with every console. You'll never a game.
Absolutely.
Rarely will a game, and to be honest, I think the only game that does that is like Grand Theft Auto, where you have like 50% penetration of the population. Like outside the launch, like once you get deep into the 4th, 5th year, and the consoles have 70, 80, 90 million users, you'll really see a game that sells 45, 50, 60 million.
Yeah,
that's just not happening.
It's mainly because people buy the game and then they go to whatever game place and be like, what's the most popular game? And they'll be like, Grand Theft Auto. So then they buy Grand Theft Auto. I mean, that's really all it is. It's like you look at people,
that's just 75 million, bro.
Yeah, because people I'm telling you, casuals just walk in, they'd be like, what's the most popular game? GTA, and then they just buy it. Like it's not even, they don't put no thought behind it. They might not even get to. I mean, we don't know what their online numbers are, so we don't know who's actually playing. We know a significant amount of people are playing it, but we don't know that 75 million people are playing Grand Theft Auto. Probably is close to 20. Now
I would say this. Now, this is one of the things. If Microsoft, do you think, and it's probably no fault of their own or whatever, it's just how it is. But all right, so on a podcast, they hype, Microsoft has the best online.
Yeah.
The point where I try to make is online, believe it or not, is a very casual feature. As long as a casual could put their disc in and just play the game, they're really not interested. Like the biggest online game on console is Call of Duty, pretty much. It's possibly the most casual out of all the games available. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, as long as a gamer puts in a disc, they don't notice this online war between Xbox and PlayStation Network. All they know is, hey, I'm playing my game. They don't notice the details of sound quality or features or doing this and that, all this shit. Most of them they're oblivious to that.
It's not noticeably different. Think of it this way. Like, what kind of cell phone you have?
Right now, I got the iPhone 5.
All right. So say if you were in the business to get a new cell phone, right? Say if you're like, man, this HTC looks interesting, right? I like the way it's designed.
Yeah.
But you're an iPhone guy. So iPhone, and you've probably had other phones than an iPhone, and you're like, man, but them other phones was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to get this HTC, and this shit is a little fucked up. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's kind of the premise behind online. Like, especially for a PlayStation gamer, you have nothing to compare it to, especially if you never played on Xbox. So what's your comparison to it? Nothing. Does it work? It works well enough. You don't have any complaints. If you're not online, your friends aren't online. So it's not like you're online, your friends aren't online. Are online. So it's like y'all are dealing with the same issues. It's just like, it's hard to be like, all right, this is better when everybody you have to compare it to pretty much plays on the same thing. Is until you get the other console in your house, do you know what the difference is?
No.
I mean, until then, you don't know. And and then at the same point, it's like, are you on or multiplayer gamer? Because if you're not, if you only play multiplayer once a month, it doesn't even fucking matter. Yeah. Like, it doesn't fucking matter because you don't play it long enough online to even get and to even care. So it's like,
that is true, brother man. All right, brother man. Let's see. I think that's it. We're almost up on the hour. Is there any other topic you want to hit on before we depart?
Oh, let's talk about Phantom Dust.
Okay, Phantom Dust. All right, I know. Let's talk about. All right, so I'm gonna be honest. I was not tracking Phantom Dust being original. I was out of the loop on that one. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't paying attention. Because when I first heard about Phantom Dust, I heard that it was going to be a remake. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to do what PlayStation does. They're going to take the game, bump it up to 1080p, 60 frames, maybe add a little bit more graphical effects. And the only conversation I heard from them was it got canceled, but it's back on. Canceled, back on. All that shit. I wasn't paying attention to the details. You know what I'm saying? So in my mind, I'm thinking, either the Phantom Dust remake is on or off. I had no idea that shortly after E3, the developer, there's a female, I forgot her name, but she said that they're releasing it in its original asset and resolution. So it's pretty much it's pretty much what PlayStation does with its PS2 games, and they load it up on the PlayStation Store. You can purchase a PS2 game. No big deal.
Yeah, it's the original asset resolution, not the original resolution.
Okay.
So it's not, the assets are 480p, but not the resolution.
Okay. So here's the thing. So the Twitter, the guy, when they show, I don't know if you saw the Twitter picture. The guy responded saying, he asked the question, is this game going to be in HD? He didn't say yes. She said original assets. No, and she actually said, in fact, let me look at that Twitter. She even said,
because 480p, that's not really HD. It's still 480p textures. So it's not really,
So now what you feel about that? Like, why? And I could talk about anyway. So what do you think that Microsoft's not investing to make it? It doesn't even have to be a full-blown remake, but an actual proper remaster. Let's say that, a remaster, because that's what there's a difference between remake and remaster. So why can't they just do a proper remaster of the game? Like, about that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they're trying to figure out interest. I mean, because this isn't like what they're doing is a port. It's not like they're spending millions of dollars to get this game, put on Xbox One. It's just being ported. I mean, this could be like this is something you would give like a small team of up and comers to show their worth. Like, all right, do you because a lot of devs, they do like ports. So this is just all it is a port. I mean, granted, it's a little bit more challenging because you're porting it from 360 to, not 360, from OG Xbox to Xbox One. So obviously that's a little bit more challenging, and they're trying to make it as pretty and presentable as possible with not really changing much of anything about it. But to me, it's gonna look similar to like what Rare games look, when we got the Rare collection. I mean, it's those games look okay, but maybe look a little bit better. Like, was it Perfect Dark looked okay, but like games like Conquer, they look muddy as fuck because it's an old ass game, And even though I've seen the screenshots from Phantom Dust, and it doesn't look that bad. I mean, it just looks old. The game in general just looks old, like, old, art style or whatever. Man, I can't, believe I'm playing this shit type shit, because I play indies that look way worse on Xbox One. I'm just being honest. Shit, the fucking Black Tiger or whatever that Tiger game is on PlayStation looks god awful. So we've seen worse. It's not like we haven't seen worse, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to cost more than $20. So, I'm interested to see what it's. I heard things about the game in general. So we'll see how it happens. But to me, if it's going to build interest, because that's the only reason why I would see, like, why even do it unless somebody was begging Phil, like, yo, Phil, just let us port this, please, let us port this. So they're like, all right, fuck it, why not?
But let me ask you this: if you're gonna build interest, wouldn't you think you have a better chance of building interest if you at least make it a remaster, so that way you could bump up the resolution to 720p, improve the textures? You understand what I'm saying? Because what are the odds that gamers today, like you and I know, the older gamers, we might get it, but the majority of the gamers that are dominating now are the younger crowds, and it always has been that way. You understand what I'm saying? If this game were to get a fair shot at being, to generate interest, wouldn't it be better to remaster it, to give it its proper due, instead of, because if you try to run this shit at 40p, if people thought Quantum Break was bad,
well, I know this, but I don't think anybody expects this game to like set the world on fire. Like, I don't think they ever planned for it to set the world on fire. I just think that, at this point they're probably just trying to see what sticks. They're just throwing some shit at the wall. It's like, look, man, we got these guys, they want to port this game. It's like probably like 5 to 10 people. All right, fuck it, let them do it. It ain't gonna really cost us nothing. We're paying them anyway. Versus having them remaster something that you're gonna need a larger team to do. You're gonna have to spend a lot more money to do. To me, it's like, I guess they figured, you know what, is worthy enough to be an indie. We could talk about it because it's an original IP. And we can see if people like it, then we can make a full game for it, or they might already be making a full game for it. They're just putting this out, to generate interest before that next game. Similar to what they do with like Halo Wars. Like, we didn't know Halo Wars Definitive Edition was coming out until, we knew Halo Wars 2 was coming out, but we didn't know Definitive Edition was coming out. We figured we just get the what the hell, the regular old 360 port or whatever. So, I don't know. I'm just saying they probably just generated interest, man. It's a lot of games that they could redo, but it's like, is it worth it though?
All right. Now let me ask you this one last question. So far, from the games that we know Microsoft is creating, I know E3 is coming around, but from what we know, what they have in development, what's coming.
Yeah.
Are you concerned that Crackdown and State of Decay could end up being Microsoft's biggest exclusives for the later half of the year?
Ooh.
Are you concerned? Do you think those games are truly like similar to like the Halo, the God of War, the Forza? I know you're gonna get Forza 7, so obviously you have that one big project. But do you think Crackdown and State of Decay will have a little bit of muscle, to give Xbox shine towards the end of the year? Or do you think Microsoft really needs to push something in E3 and make those games? How do you feel about Crackdown possibly being the 27?
I think Crackdown is going to be pretty big.
You think so?
I think it will sell about 3. It'll do 3 million easy. Because I'm telling you, man, this shit is something. Look, it got multiplayer, and it's doing something shit that you've never seen before. Shit, I would play that shit just to be able to punch holes in walls and choke motherfuckers out from the other side. Why not? Like, that shit is dope to me. Like just watching the tech demo, the dude fucking shooting the wall, you just seeing like literal dust particles land on the ground. I'm like, yo, that shit is fucking baller. That's what I've been talking. That's what I originally thought we was getting at the beginning of this fucking generation. That's the shit I was thinking we were getting. But we didn't get that shit yet. We still waiting on fucking when you shoot the wall, the bullets stay. Like, I could walk all the way out to West Bumblefuck, come back, and the bullet's still on the wall where I shot my name into the wall. That shit is fucking fire, but we're not getting that shit yet. So if Crackdown delivers that, hell yeah. That alone, just for being able to do that, would be fucking awesome. And then State of Decay, that's just an amazing game. My biggest issue with State of Decay was it was glitchy. Even on the Xbox One, the game is still fucking glitchy. For whatever reason, obviously it's a lot more powerful, so I don't know, where they just got the second tier team to just basically be like, all right, skin that bitch, put the PC skins on it, and fucking, port that shit to Xbox and keep it moving. I don't know, maybe that's what they did, but it's still a really fun game. But for that game to be good, obviously it can't be glitchy. You can't have all those fucking bugs and screen tearing and all that shit. And even with that being said, they still gave that bitch an 80 on the end, and I think I don't remember what his Metacritic score was, but the shit was high enough. But again, that was another generation. Fucking 360 was like the king. So when you're the king, people don't, people tell you your shit don't stink. You're like, man, your shit smell like roses. But when you're not the king no more, people tell you about yourself. You're like, man, you need to put some deodorant on, bro. You fucking stink. Like that's so right now, PlayStation the king. So there's a lot of shit that they're gonna let slide right now because they the shit. But once they're not the shit no more, then they're gonna be like, man, your shit stink. People gonna be like, what the fuck? Yeah, what's this bullshit that's going on right now? Y'all wasn't saying that shit months ago. Be like, well, you're not the king no more.
That's how it is. That's pretty much
how it goes.
If you ain't number one, you that last.
Yeah. So it's like the argument of like, oh, this game is better than that game. It's not. Look, man, it's better because they the fucking king. It is what it is.
One last thing. How you feel about Sea of Thieves?
It looks good, but obviously, I mean, it's hard to say because they haven't there's so much shit that we don't know about it, and there's so much shit they haven't put in the game. But it's no different from any other game playing. Like, to me, I always have this argument with my brother. He's like, man, I would like Sea of Thieves if it looked more like a what was that game? Assassin's Creed.
Like Assassin's Creed, like realistic.
I'm like, say that now, but I don't know if you would, because the difference is like, all right, you might like it, but the potential and for everybody else to kind of jump on board isn't there. Because not everybody, because to me, Assassin's Creed is just a typical art style of everything else. To me, that's one of the things that hurts gaming the most. Is like everybody is trying to look like everybody else. Like they're all pretty much doing the same thing. That's why it feels like Ghost Recon, feels like Division, it feels like fucking Assassin's Creed, like all this shit feels the same. It just, like we need more of an identity with the different games. Like people will say, "Oh man, I play that game if it was like Uncharted." You'll play that shit for like 2 hours and then be like, "All right, I had my fill on it." If it played just like Uncharted, like you just climb shit, maybe you ride in a boat every once in a while, you shoot some shit up. It'd be like GTA. You can literally do that shit in GTA, just drive around in boats and play like you're fucking pirates. Why not? But to be able to be in a world that fucking dynamically moves and you have creatures and shit, the way that they're talking about it, that shit is pretty cool. It's just something different, To me, I'm just looking for something. I like my typical shit. I like my Halos. I like my Gears. I like all that shit that I get with Xbox, multi-plats. But every once in a while, it's nice to have something that's unique, that it's not like, oh, it's like something else, So I don't know. That's the way I feel about it. I just think that it could be like Minecraft. Like I said, like I don't like Minecraft. I'm not a fan of Minecraft. I played it. It's whatever. I wanted to like Ark. I'm not a fan of I bought Ark. Shit, I bought Ark and We Happy Few for $36, and they both fairly play the same. It's like a Survivor type. I'm hungry. You got to burp me and type. Fucking, I hate that shit. But you're telling me I can do the exploring that I want to do in Ark. I can do the building that I want to do in Ark and customizations, but I don't have to deal with none of that bullshit. And I get to just fucking go to an endless world. It's not like it's not endless, but a big ass fucking world where you just look for fucking islands, like on some Witcher type shit. Like that shit is crazy, man. I'll fuck with it.
I'm gonna say this because I've seen some of the, like I seen a 15-minute gameplay video of that stuff, and I think, and this is just my opinion. And I'm not even going to talk about the graphics because, again, that's all personal. So there's no way for me to say the graphic style is going to make the game flop or anything like that because that's all opinion of what people enjoy.
Yeah.
But this game could potentially go the way of what Division, which is sounds cool in concept, but after a week you get bored of it because pretty much the gameplay is you have your crew, you're on a ship, you explore and all this shit.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be interesting finding a new crab 3 days later or 4 days later on the island.
No,
That's just it's cool. It's cool the first day. Like, oh shit, look at this island. It has this, it has that. Yeah, that shit's cool. But after 5-6 days, it's not about the thing. It's about the gameplay and the missions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be the key for Sea of Thieves. How does Microsoft make the missions interesting? Because if all you do is you get your peoples, you go on one island, and the 5 of you dig treasure. One guy carries it, goes back on a boat. You take it back to the store. While you're on the way to the store, you have to fight to keep the treasure. And rinse and repeat. That shit's gonna get old after.
Well, of course. I mean, but what you're looking, you're absolutely right about that. But what you're looking at is like alpha tests. Like basically, people are being put in a room. You're getting a minimal time frame to do something, right? So they give you the simplest shit to do, which is like go fetch this or go find this. You know, they give you a map and you go look for this treasure and you try. Like the gameplay is very simple because you don't have a enormous amount of time to play it. It's almost like an extended E3 demo, you know. So you can't just get on there and be like, I'm gonna play for the next 6 hours. Like,
I would say this: a lot of people said the same shit about Division, and look how that ended up. Right now, to me, the only game that was successful at doing this formula was Destiny, and that's because of the raid. And a lot of people just don't get it. Yeah. The raid was a huge factor for this game because a lot of people will replay these missions just so to build up the armor, you know, the light level because of the raid. That's what it was all about. It was all about doing the raid, and that's why this game needs a raid. If it doesn't have a raid type thing, then there's no point in just playing all day just to dig up some fucking gold and rinse.
No. Well, this is what I'm thinking about the game. They're probably gonna have missions where it's like, all right, you got to go get this fucking mystical treasure, but you got to go on this epic voyage in order to get to it. Like the fucking monsters and all that shit. Like we haven't seen. Like if you follow any of the Sea of Thieves shit, you notice that other than what did they just get? Skeletons. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, they just been fighting each other, and then you know, the first week was like they just get boats, and you're shooting at each other, and it's just rebuilding and stuff like that. Then they got treasure, so you got a map. Then they got the fucking skeleton. So they're gradually putting things in the game, seeing how people respond to what's being put in the game. But you know, like these people aren't stupid. Like they know what a good game needs to be. But it's just like this is like one of the few games you're watching literally the process of going from the beginning, from A to B to C to, like we're watching everything gradually being thrown in the game and this is just for the multiplayer portion. We're not even looking at it like they haven't shown us like somebody just grabbing a boat, just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do my own thing, you know, but it's in the game, but they haven't shown that yet. So, you you have that aspect of it. To me, as long as they have like was it decent, about a 10-hour story. But see, to me, that world is so fucking big. I don't know if you can make anything shorter than 20. Like you probably spend 10 minutes just fucking riding in the boat. You know? So if they do a good enough single player, you know, and then just make it where you can go on these little epic voyages and just leave it like Ark. Like to me, like I don't know, have you played Ark?
No, I haven't played it.
Ark is like you basically get thrown in the world, and I played with Kyle from TikGen, you know, like Tick Podcast.
Yeah, the Tick Podcast.
Yeah. So I played with him first week. I met this dude. He had nothing. Like we were just running around. Like he had a little bit more than I did. That was fun running around in my underwear and whatever the fuck they give you when you first walk in. And he had like boots on and shit. I come back like maybe 3 weeks later. This motherfucker built a house, like a big ass house with fucking dinosaurs collecting and all that shit. Like, yeah, all kinds of shit in there. And like, basically, you have a server and you go to that server where everything you built is like located there, and people just motherfucking damn near live in the fucking game.
All right.
Now, that's not going to be for everybody, but a lot of people play that game because they had to make more servers to accommodate all the players that have been playing fucking Ark Survival. And the same thing was for Minecraft. They had to make more servers for all the people that were doing Minecraft. So to me, Sea of Thieves could be the same type thing. You know, you play the game, you go on voyages. Yeah, you might get killed in the process. Maybe somebody from a rival ship murdered your ass, and now you got to go and fucking you've already got to ride in the ship of souls for whatever your respawn time is until you're able to come back, or you maybe you got murdered by a sea monster, or you know you have a mermaid that drowned your ass, or whatever the fuck. You got eaten by a shark. I don't know. Like, it's all a whole bunch of shit that they're probably putting in the game. But to me, it's just like the potential's there. We're only seeing a glimpse of it. You know, they only can really talk but so much about it. I mean, E3 is like, what, 4 months away? So,
all right. So let's quick question. So let's say it's doing everything that you're saying, right?
Yeah.
But Microsoft decides to release Sea of Thieves in October or November, like around that time frame. And you got Red Dead Redemption, Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the new Call of Duty, and God forbid, whatever other major fucking third party. At that point, how successful do you think that game is going to be in that world?
Well,
especially if Microsoft's dumb enough to release it the same month as Red Dead Redemption 2. At that point, how do you think how much staying power is going to be?
You know what? Sea of Thieves is different in that aspect because it's a multiplayer. It's a massive open world multiplayer game. So I don't think it it would hurt its initial sales. I mean, I guess it can hurt and help it. To be honest, it can go both ways because if you release it in the summertime, you know, what if people are just like, we ain't in the mood to be buying games right now?
You know, a lot of people are saying that, but that if
right now is different because you're dealing with two factors right now between January and April. You're dealing with Christmas money and you're dealing with refund money.
Yeah,
those are the two things you're dealing with between January and April. After that, you know, people are kind of chilling out. They're going on vacation, you know, shit like that. I'm not saying that you won't see Sea of Thieves then, but to be honest, I think they're gonna save like around E3 for Cuphead. I think that, like the developer says, Cuphead's supposed to be done, even though Microsoft says they're not rushing them. They're, you know, because it's hand drawn, so they're like, when they're done, they're done. But they said they're gonna be done in June, so we'll take their word for it. But if they're not, we're not rushing them because we know that is a fucking hard ass thing that they're trying to do right now. So we're just, you know, we're giving them the time to complete it. But more than likely we'll get Cuphead. If they give a seat, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna say this: if because you gotta look at this. Let's use Uncharted for example. Let's use that.
Yeah,
they released that game in May of last year, May, and there wasn't that many other. If you look at 2016, from January to August, the only major multiplats that were released during that 8 month was Overwatch, Division. Doom.
Yeah, Division came out in March,
February.
Yeah.
So you got Division, Doom, Overwatch, and there was one in Madden, which came out in August towards the tail end. Those were your big AAA multiplats. So it wasn't a lot. After August, going from September to November, you had Watch Dogs, you had Mafia, Titanfall, Battlefield, Call of Duty, Final Fantasy, Deus Ex, and I'm forgetting some other shit. But you had like 9 major multiplats.
There's a lot of games that didn't do well either.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because
Dishonored didn't sell well. Watch Dogs didn't sell well.
Because they all crumbled together. You know what I'm saying? So when you have 12 to something multiplats, one, you're gonna look at the super big wigs first. Those are the ones that's gonna take the cake. Call of Duty and Battlefield. Those are the first things. They're always gonna be the first choice for most games. When a new Battlefield came out. So looking at it this year. You got Red Dead Redemption, Star Wars, Call of Duty again. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, I mean, it may be different, but sometimes different doesn't sell. As we seen that clip, there was a lot of games that came out that were different and they just didn't sell. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they're more, you know.
I don't know, but it's different.
Red Dead Redemption, like in my opinion, I think the only games that would withstand any type of success towards the end of 2017 would be a Halo game, an actual Halo game, a God of War, Spider-Man, or The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Those are the only games I see having a prayer of a chance with the juggernauts that's coming out, especially Destiny 2's coming out. Destiny 2 and Red Dead Redemption, to me, are those 2 games alone are gonna saturate the charts.
I don't know, but
those 2 games alone. Go ahead.
No, maybe you need to look at it like, all right, remember Rocket League? That came out during the summer, though, right?
Yeah.
All right, but that game still sells fairly well.
Yeah, right? But that's like a $10 gift, and I think Sony was
$10. I thought it was $20.
Sony was giving it away for free for a little while.
Well, no, I'm talking about after the whole free. I'm talking about even because when it came to Xbox, people bought it. Yeah. You know, like so, like it's because that game is multiplayer. Like I'm telling you, it's yes, in a perfect world, Sea of Thieves deserves to have its own slot, so it has a chance to shine. That's really all people are asking for, and a chance for it to shine on its own. Whereas, will it kill it? No, I don't think it coming out in like December or whatever would kill Sea of Thieves because of the type of game it is. Like even if say nobody catches on to Sea of Thieves until like February. And then they realize, like, oh shit, this game is fucking fun as hell. And then people start streaming it. Like, it's been plenty of times that people, like, games have kind of laid dormant for a little bit. And then people look at, what's that game? Not Division, Rainbow Six. That game, nobody was playing that game last year. And then all of a sudden, that shit became hot shit. You see what I'm saying? That shit was in the NPDs. Mm-hmm. And that game's a year old. And that game, everybody was like, that game flopped. It was like, it was 900p. It was terrible. All of a sudden, it's like big shit. It was like, what, number 8 or 9 in NPD last month. So it's like, if it's multiplayer, it has a chance to live. Now, if it's single player, you are 100% right, sir. These a single player game, and they launched that shit around Red Dead. Like they did with Alan Wake, you asking for some problems because single player, if you don't play it right then and there, it's like going to the movies. If you don't go to the movies right when it launches, you might not see that bitch for another couple of years.
All right. So it's going to be interesting. All right, we're going to cut this short. It's going to be interesting. We're going to see how this holiday turns out because I don't see a lot of exclusives fucking standing up to Red Dead, COD, Star Wars.
Yeah, no. I mean, Microsoft is going to have some because it's almost like they have to. Because I think that's what hurt the Pro more than anything was the fact that it launched with nothing. Like, it didn't even launch with no.
In my opinion, the Scorpio is going to run through. I know you guys are betting your hedges. I think the Scorpio is going to run through the same problem simply because, not because of power and stuff. It's because how much money you're going to need to take advantage of it. You're going to have to buy a console, which is, let's say, $400 or $500, and then you're going to have to buy a TV. That's like $500. Let's say the cheapest 4K, $400.
Well, you're talking about full advantage. We're not talking full advantage. I mean, it's still going to be a beast 1080p, but it'll be, I
agree it could be a beast, but I don't think most people see it that way. When these consoles are being advertised as 4K beast, automatic association is I need a 4K TV. That's just how it's associated right now. It's good, especially if that's,
to be honest,
the most casual.
But to be honest, go ahead.
What I'm saying is if the conversation that's being had at E3 is native 4K, native 4K, native 4K, people are not going to think, well, it's still going to look good on my 1080p TV. They're just not going to see it that way. They're just going to see it as, well, if this is a 4K machine, I don't got a 4K TV. So there's no sense in buying this unless I buy a 4K TV. That's hurdle number one, and that's what hurt the Pro. And it's just a natural thing. Most people think, and in reality, if you really, and even Phil Spencer said a couple of months back, you're not going to get the advantage unless you have a 4K TV. That's why he said himself. To take full advantage of Scorpio, you need a 4K TV.
Well, yeah, full advantage,
yeah. But that's what people want. If people are going to pay $500, you're not going to pay $500 for half an advantage. That doesn't make sense.
Well, I don't know if it's half, but what I'm saying is, like, when I first bought the Xbox 360, I still was fucking dealing with a 480p TV.
Yeah, but that's everybody was in that transition phase.
Yeah, but when the Xbox came out, everybody was like, "Oh, you got to get a 720p or a 1080i or a 1080p TV." Like, everybody was already making that transition. I didn't make that transition until damn near a year. I think it was when Gears of War came out. That's when I had upgraded my television. The first,
but that transition came with games. because Microsoft was not supporting the Xbox platform no more. So you had no choice but to move on to that transition. It was either that or you get no new games. Your choice.
But yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is,
not doing that. But I'll use the Pro. I'll use the Pro. Pro's not doing that. Pro did not, like even me. I'm a Sony dude, but Pro did not give me a reason to spend $400 and buy a 4K TV because I'm playing the games already. Now, if someone were to say, "Hey, we're gonna start support of the PS4 and all new games are coming onto the Pro," that's different. Now I'm being forced to merge onto something because if I don't merge onto that platform, I can't enjoy future potential games. So if they were to say, "Hey, Horizon's a PS4 Pro exclusive, the next God of War, the Last of Us 2, Spider-Man, these games are PS4 Pro exclusive. Gran Turismo Sport Pro exclusive," then yes, it will sell better. It'll probably piss off a shitload of people, but it will sell better.
It wouldn't sell
forced
better. Yeah, I mean,
you have no choice.
Yeah, well, it would. The console would sell better, but not the game.
The games wouldn't sell better because it will get worse. You're starting normal.
Well, yeah, I think that's what these companies have realized. They're like, fuck the console. If they don't buy the games, what's the point? That's where I make my money.
So the point is saying this. The point I'm going to say is Scorpio's not forcing anyone to buy the console. There's no force. There's no push to get it.
Well, I mean, it's only a push if you're one of those people that needs to have the new shit. Like if you're one of the people that stands in line and be like, the new iPhone's out, gotta have that bitch. This old shit is gone. Like if you're one of those people, then yeah, it's when it comes out, you want it. Regardless of what platform it was on. Like think about it. I think a lot of PlayStation guys, well, I wouldn't even call them gamers, that already have PS4, that haven't gotten the Pro, will probably settle on the Scorpio just because, it's a better option than the Pro right now. Because technically, you could still play your PS4 games. You're not getting a serious advantage other than resolution on the Pro. So it's like, well, why the fuck not? Why not just get the Scorpio? Yeah, it's $100 more, but like I see the difference. Now if it was $100 more and you see no difference, that's a fucking problem. There's no like resolution alone can't do it. Like they got to do textures. They got to try to bump up frame rate because and apparently that's what I'm hearing. But if they're not doing, if it's just res, that it's just fucking pointless. You're not gonna beat Sony in the doing the same shit Sony does. Like they're a bigger name as far as gaming. It is what it is.
No, we'll see. I just don't think. I think Scorpio come November, people are gonna see. Holy shit! This mid-gen upgrade is not as big as everybody's gonna make it out to think. I think when people think of this mid-gen upgrade, they're gonna associate it with a 4K TV. Now, those that are gonna make the jump, 4K TV and a new console, they're gonna do it, but it's not gonna compare to the amount of people who just want to buy a console and just like what we saw. No one thought the Slim. Hell, the Slim was the #1 console in November, and it doesn't even have a 4K player.
Yeah.
Nobody expected that. Nobody expected the Slim was going to be the #1 console bundle. Everybody thought it was going to be the Xbox One S because of what it was bringing to the table. It was bringing upscale 4K. You could play 4K movies, and it takes advantage of all the 4K TV sales that was happening in November, December. But in the end, the Slim won. And that shit, you can't even use optical out on the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So it's not even as good as the vanilla PS4. It dominated all bundles simply by simply having Uncharted on the box. And that's what I was trying to tell people. When you look at
it dominated because of Uncharted. I mean, remember. Simple. Well, but you gotta remember, Uncharted was like the only real bundle they had. Like, yes, they had some old PS4s and they had Call of Duty. Well, we already know Call of Duty didn't sell like it did, like they said they wanted it to. So the most bought bundle was the Uncharted bundle.
Mm-hmm.
People that bought Call of Duty, you typically already had the PS4 that were buying it on PS4.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is people saying it on the Chunder bundle, but think about this. It was the Slim versus an Xbox One S with a 4K Blu-ray player. You guys were hyping that a lot. So what made the PS4 Slim win? What made it win then? You just said it wasn't the Call of Duty. We didn't have the Madden things. Microsoft had that. So what did it then?
Yeah.
What did the Slim have? It doesn't have an optic. It's not an improved hardware, right? It's not improved hardware. It doesn't have a 4K Blu-ray player. It lost the optical out, so you can't even use that. So what did it?
I don't think anybody even knew about the optical out though.
Oh yeah, that shit was like. I mean,
but it was the most. But it was one. Was cheaper.
When you look at it though, if it wasn't Uncharted 4, then what was it? What made people go out and buy a PlayStation 4 Slim, which had nothing new to the table other than a redesign? It was pretty much the same price as an Xbox One S. Hell, Xbox One S, they were giving that shit away for free. Like,
well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, it was gonna sell anyway. You're saying it's selling because of Uncharted. I'm saying it was gonna sell whether or not they put whatever on it. But the main bundle that they had was Uncharted. Yes, they had Call of Duty, but Call of Duty wasn't the main bundle that they had the most majority of bundles for. That's all I'm saying.
Well, look at this. The Uncharted bundle wasn't out when the Slim released, and Xbox One S outsold it. That was like October. October was the last.
Because I think they sold it with nothing. Yeah. That's why. They just straight sold the Slim. It had no game. Like, this shit was crazy.
Yeah.
I mean that was the same thing with the Xbox. The Xbox, when they had the Slim versus the Xbox, the Slim with no game versus the Xbox with no game, the Xbox was winning. But when they put a Slim with a game with the Xbox with a game, I don't remember what game it was. It was like they had like 15 different SKUs.
Yeah, they had Minecraft. They had
but it was just the fact of having a game that made it more appealing. You know, because like I said, PlayStation is already the more popular console. It just is. There's no way around it. You could try to sugarcoat it either way. It's just more popular. It just is. You know, people. You know, like when I did camp for a little bit this summer, man. I had kids come in, and I already knew. I'm looking at the kid. I'm like, I know these kids have PlayStation. It's fucking the most popular console. Like, why wouldn't they have it? So when I brought the Xbox in for them to play, they were like, "Oh, this is an Xbox." I was like, "Damn, why you throwing shade?" It's like, this is an Xbox. Man, let me tell you, man, I couldn't get those motherfuckers off Halo. They told me for 2 days they didn't want to play Halo. Halo's trash. Like, I just want to play Marvel. I'm like, fine. We play Halo one day. They're like, what's that? It's Halo. I thought it was trash. Oh, no, we can play it this one time. I was like, all right, we going to play Marvel now? Nah, we don't want to play no Marvel. We're just going to play Halo. I'm like, what the fuck? But, like, you know, it's because it's popular, you know, it's automatically ingrained in them that, like, you know, it's better. So, fuck Xbox, it's better. It is what it is, man. And that was the same shit that happened to PS3 when it was 360 was the best shit. You know, it is what it is.
Right. Now, if Sony were to drop the bomb at E3 and said they're launching God of War this holiday and it's coming in a bundle.
Oh, that would be big.
How do you think that would change? How do you think that will compare with Scorpio? Let's say if November Scorpio launches and Sony launches the Pro and the Slim, you know, 2 bundles with a God of War on the box. How do you think that would pan out?
I think it would sell. Look, man,
you think it will hurt Scorpio?
It's hard to say because I think the people that are going to buy Scorpio are going to buy Scorpio. At this point, I mean, we already know. Look,
so do you think people are already set in their ways? They're buying Scorpio because of the power. It's not really because of the game or specific game or something. They want a more powerful hardware.
Yeah, you're gonna have people trading in their old Xboxes or their old PS4s for, you know, freaking the Scorpio. Especially if you have more than one. Now, if God of War drops, of course it's gonna sell as God of War. Like, it's, you know, is one of PlayStation's staples. You know, and like I said, it's PlayStation is the most popular console, so it's going to sell more at this juncture. It just is. So, I mean, would I be surprised if it sells? No, it probably sells some pros. Now, if they bundle it with a Pro, you'll probably see Pro sell better. Now, if they bundle it with Slims, it'll probably just kill because it's fucking new console. I mean, not new console, new game with the Slim. It's gonna be cheaper. It's gonna be like $100 and shit. I might get one. $150 might be $212. I mean, not $150. What I'm talking about, $250 or $212. It might be something like that. Yeah, I'll get one of those. Fuck it, I'll get a Slim in that shit.
All right, brother. Man, we went way beyond an hour. All right, people. Well, ladies and gentlemen, all right, of the thread and all that stuff. I appreciate everyone here joining the first one-on-one with Rock. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, this is not going to be a scheduled podcast or anything like that due to the nature. I'm pretty much going to have to hit up different personalities and work with their schedules. But if something does get locked on, it will be advertised way in advance. You know, I'm going to give at least a week notice before I actually air and stuff like that. But anyway, any parting things, Livewire?
Yeah, just check out my channel. You know, I do little rants and conversation not one-on-ones, but just me in front of the mic just talking shit, you know what I mean? Telling it how I see it from my perspective about whatever's going on. Yeah, if you are extremely sensitive, because look, man, I just go unfiltered, so I just go unfiltered. Sometimes I say shit that's like, you know, people be like, oh man, you know, I got to get the liberal police on you. Be like, look, man, it is what it is. You know, I don't go crazy, but you know, I might say some shit that's honest. It is what it is.
All right, people.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it for you letting me on, though.
Yeah, I appreciate you swinging by. And for everybody else, again, this is not a segment for debate. It's just conversation, bringing out points of views, whether it's right, wrong, not possible. That's not really what this is about. It's just hearing the other person out. You know, in an environment that's not like Twitter, where you get overshadowed with, you know what I'm saying, with just some craziness. It's just get your point across, and then in time we'll tell who's right or who's wrong or what came out or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just about different points of views, and that's really what this segment's going to be about. It's just one-on-one. People get to talk without, you know, other people overpower. You know what I'm talking about? You know, you try to say something, then everybody just cuts in. They don't let you. That's all it is.
People get feelings get hurt. Like, oh shit, you cut me deep, bitch. Oh,
yeah, they won't let you finish, and that's all it is. You know, this podcast is not to state facts. It's just opinions and conversations, and just trying to hear other people's perceptions, because that's really what this, you know, whole industry thing is. It's all about perception and what we perceive based on the information.
Yes. Yes.
You know, two people are not gonna. You know, two people could read a book and they completely get something different out of it. You know what I'm saying? And that's all it really is. That's all this segment's going to be about. It's just hearing the other gamers' view, you know, and how they perceive things to be, you know. But again, I appreciate you showing up, brother. One-on-one with The Rock, and we out of here. You know what I'm saying? All right. Everybody else, peace.
Peace.